What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action. Spawning in the bottom of the map, in the blue color, playing his ISIS, who's from the DoD clan. His name is Joe. In the other side of the map, in the red color, playing as Oranos, from the DoD clan as well. His name is Shelty. The map is Blue Lagoon. This is on the Voobly Balance Patch 3.0, and it is the finals of the RTS-Sanctuary Christmas tournament. It's currently 3-0 for Joe, not looking good for Shelty at all. However, that does not mean he cannot come back. So we're going to see if his Oranos can make any sort of an impact against Joe's ISIS. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of Joe against ISIS. We've seen a whole lot of Joe against Thor and Poseidon and other Egyptians, but Oranos, one of those gods that hasn't been touched all too much in this tournament. Many people believe that he has been unfairly treated in the patches and has been significantly nerfed. However, we'll see if Shelty can pull out from his bag of tricks the things that he needs to make this god work really well. Shockwave, still have 3 charges of Shockwave. However, the stun duration, and I think even just the stun duration is significantly reduced. So if you cast Shockwave, the units will bounce away. However, they'll be able to shoot by the time they've hit the ground. Maybe a little bit, maybe a second of stun on the ground before they're back to action. So it's really not all that much. I believe Valor was slightly nerfed. I think you used to have 3 charges of Valor. Now it's only 2. Could be wrong about that one. And yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Shelty looks like he's going for that standard 430 advanced time at this point, chucking his 3rd villager onto wood. You chuck 2 villagers on food, 1 villager wood, 1 villager gold. You get hunting dogs as well at the very start. Then you guild that mana and get the rest of your villagers on food. And then you're going to be able to advance to the classical age super fast and start putting pressure onto your opponent. Joe, on the other hand, I'm interested to see if he goes Anubis this game or what he's trying to do. I feel like Shelty's had a very lucky map spawn here with Oranos. Having this back gold mine means that early aggression with Priest and Pharaoh is not that useful because your opponent can just move back into his base, chop these woods while he waits for the towers to come up. So that set play where you go fast classical age into Priests with your Pharaoh, it doesn't work that well with ISIS. However, it can be useful. Could work. However, with this back gold mine, it's not going to be able to be an issue there for Shelty, so he's going to be happy with that. On the other hand, we're looking at Joe's gold mine placement. He's got a nice choke point here. If he just builds a wall here or even puts a house and a temple or just anything, a couple of houses around here, he's going to be totally fine. This gold mine is going to be off limits for the most part of this game. However, let's check out the gold mines out of the base. We only have 4 gold mines on this Blue Lagoon map. We have 1, 2, 3 gold mine choices for Joe. So Joe's going to have to make his pretty strong decision as to which one he wants to go for. Because if he goes for one and gets kicked off it, it's going to be very difficult for him to get to the other ones because they're kind of pretty far away from each other. Also, Shelty's in a similar situation. However, Oranos is such a strong early game god that you generally don't have to worry too much about that second gold mine. It's more you have to worry about if your aggression fails that second gold mine. So if Shelty plays well, he should be able to control the map and potentially get one of those gold mines for himself and stop Joe getting the gold. So we'll see if he can manage to pull that one off. If we jump over to Shelty's perspective, he is not got that temple going up. As soon as you hit that 100 gold, chuck the temple up. It's pretty simple. Around about now is what you want. You don't want to be waiting too long. I believe the temple has it doesn't say how long the build time is for me. I think it's around about 15 to 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds. So if you build it too late, if you wait till like 3:15 or over before you get that temple going up, you're going to have to put 2 villagers on it. So chucking it up nice and early, going to be able to get it up. Maybe it's 25 seconds. I'm not sure exactly. Anyways, he got it up in time and he's going to be able to get to that Prometheus classical age fairly quickly. You see he's picking Prometheus up. If we jump over to Joe's perspective, Joe's looking like he's going to that classical age as well. Does not have the temple up though. I do not see a temple anywhere, which is odd because he has so much food at the moment. So it's very late temple, and he's going to be under pressure super early from Shelty. So Shelty's going to be in the classical age before the temple even gets up. So the temple's going up. Temples actually take somewhere between 30 and 45 seconds for Egyptian villagers to get the temple up. I wish it told me what it was, but unfortunately there's too much information for the temple to display. So I don't know exactly, but if he only has one villager on this, he's not going to be able to advance until like maybe 4:15 or even 4:30 if he's pretty unlucky. With the villagers production if he doesn't cancel the villagers, and which means he's going to be taking pressure from his opponent before anything even happens and before he even gets to the classical age. So Shelty can just simply send those oracles forward and do a bunch of damage with those guys. He has got them set up very, very nicely. So if we check what he's seeing, he's going to be seeing this location getting hunted. He's going to be able to see this location here and the defenses that Joe's trying to put up. So he's going to see all that, but Oracle Scout here, not the best one, wants to maybe chuck him over here just to see what's going on and see what's happening here. So no early Valor though on those Oracles because they're not grouping up together. So we're going to see maybe the barracks, military barracks, counter barracks into Valor with 1 Murmillo and 2 Terma is generally what you want to see happening. We're not building any back military barracks. I don't know if I like that. I guess that means you can gather more resources, and that's kind of nice because you don't need the gold income straight away, but having them so far away from your opponent's base means the aggression is going to be a little bit later. We're seeing nice wall chunks going up for Joe. So Joe's playing very turtley this game. I'm interested to see if he's going through Bath, so not Anubis. I'm interested to see if he decides that he can grab this second town center. I feel like he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to have to sit on the 1 town center and go fast heroic off 1 town center. He's trying to gather as much food as he possibly can from here. He's sending all of his villagers over here, which I think is a mistake. Send those back to your base, gather from the berries and pigs so you don't lose any villagers to Prometheans running around or the Terma. If we chuck over here to Shelty's perspective, he has got those Terma auto queuing and the Murmillo. Maybe he's going to send them over to this location and then get the hero villager outside of his base. Generally, we want to have... Oh, it's still got 3 Valors. I thought that was nerfed to 2. Maybe that's EE. I get confused quite a bit. So maybe Oranos is actually not nerfed at all. While seeing these Promethean offspring move into this location here, we have seen Joe deposit all of that food into the granary, and he's saying 5 minutes and 30 is the time I'm not comfortable with being out here. I'm going to move back now. He does spot the Promethean offspring, so he should start targeting that one. He would be able to kill that. That's a funny name for a pharaoh, Ptolemy. That's actually one of the names that that AOM King went by back in the day as a smurf. Does bring me back. Anyways, we're seeing the units move back into the base of Joe. So Joe's going for a very, very fast heroic age here. Generally, you see Egyptians on the Titans go for closer to 8:30 rather than anything else, but it looks like we're going to be aiming for 7:30 here, especially with the Pharaoh gathering this, empowering this, but we haven't got that many villagers on the gold. He is getting pickaxe, so I guess what he can do is get the armory up, send all of these villagers over here, cast Prosperity, gets to the heroic age at about the 7 minutes and 45 second mark. So we'll see if that's what he chooses to do. Maybe garrison these villagers over here and send them, and then we'll see what happens. Feel like Joe's build order here is not the best, possibly because he just hasn't done this strategy very much, and we're going to see if it does work for him. Shelty is going to be all over the map as well, and this gold mine, when you cast Prosperity, it uses about 1,000 gold, or depending on how many villages you have, but it uses about 1,000 gold during the Prosperity. So if you have 2,000 gold in your gold mine and 10 villages to 15, it's going to use about 1,000 to 1,500, which means it's going to be out. You're going to exhaust the gold mine about a minute to pretty much a minute earlier is essentially the gist of it. So you exhaust it a minute earlier, which means you have to go out to a next gold mine a minute earlier because you've used all the gold. So we'll see if he can manage to get that second gold mine or not, which is pretty much all this is going to come down to. If he can, it's going to be difficult for it's going to be difficult for Shelty to hang on, so we'll see what happens there. These Murmillos are moving in, and I don't like sacrificing units here. We are seeing another temple going up, so I'm not sure about that. Potentially going for the priest siege option and just spamming all of those pharaohs, all of those priests getting siege weapons out. He does have only 6 villagers on wood, which is probably enough to be building those siege weapons, and then you can go for a really strong Ancestors Eclipse access siege towers and priest timing push, which is super difficult for Atlantean to deal with. We do see a second town center going up. This is fairly standard at this amount of time against a fast heroic. Get that town center up and keep spamming units as fast as you can so you can deal with it. You want to stop building those Terma though. You need to stop building Terma and then start building something else that can kill off priests. Generally is the gist, especially when you see the second temple going up. That could have been a little fake play there by Joe. If we jump back over to Joe's perspective, he's getting Spirit of Mart, which does make priests go negative 30%. So it's definitely something that he wants to do, and he is going for the double priest, which Shelty should have been able to see from the double temple. However, like I said, could have been a fake, but not just yet. It is actually going to be the strategy that Joe is going for. So we're going to see if that can be pulled off. We have a bunch of hero units here going to be running around. Don't want to take too much damage from the towers. Towers do not have crenellation, so they can run through here completely unscathed. I believe the medium Terma have 5.28 speed, so they can get hit if they turn around. But if they're running in a straight line, they do dodge. So he's going to get out of there without too much damage, and we're going to finally start seeing those priests get built. I don't think the Spirit of Mart makes them build faster, so they still have a build time of 9 seconds, which is still very, very fast. However, spending all of the gold on the priest means you're not spending it on anything else. Getting that second gold is going to be very difficult, and it does change the nature of this push, because you're going to have to be trying to get the second gold mine instead of just making the push on your enemy's base. These siege towers kind of don't do all too much, so long as Shelty micro as well. So we're going to see exactly what happens there. If I was Shelty, I would be dropping 1 unit on each of these gold mines at this point. 1 Oracle Scout over here. You've got this one located, spotted, and this one, and you'll be totally fine. That second gold mine has gone up. Military barracks going up. Counter barracks going up. Still nowhere close to the next age, which is going to be about normal. He has come in here and he's spotted another armory going up, some temples up, and the priest. He does see it all, so I wonder if that means he's going to stop building Terma. Terma just generally don't do anything against priests, because what's their damage? They do 4 damage a shot. The shots are very, very slow. And they're very inaccurate, and the priests can pretty much tear them to shreds before they do anything. If we jump back over to Joe's perspective, Joe's now sitting at 73 population, 76 population to the 111 population of Shelty. So he's got a bit of a way to catch up here. His gold mine has expired, and he's still building these priests here. So he's going to be able to come out very, very strong. I do hope he doesn't spend all of his gold and he can build a Migdol stronghold. Potentially that would be the way to do this. You move out of your base with all these priests with the 2 siege towers. Move out of your base, get that Migdol stronghold down, and we'll see what he can do. He is moving those villages over to food now, which I'm not sure I like, but he's going to probably move this Pharaoh out into the army of his opponent, and he's going to start sieging away here at the army of Shelty. The longer he waits, the stronger Shelty's army gets. Shelty sitting at 129 population, and we are seeing that Shelty is attempting to engage at the base of Joe. So Joe's going to be in a bit of a pressure situation here. Nice shockwave there onto that Sphinx, going to be killing that one off. Laborers moving in as a little bit of an Egyptian Ragnarok, going to be attempting to fight this off here. And oh no, he's just going to be moving forward and attempting to gather that gold from the gold mine. And it looks like that's going to be enough to force Shelty out of there, not wasting ancestors at all, like what Joe wanted him. Sorry, what Shelty wanted him to do. Nice little building block there, but he's just going to be able to bash that one down and see if he can get out another little building block there with the armory. Unfortunately, Shelty not paying too much attention there. He's going to be able to get out of that without losing too many more units, and Joe's going to be moving forward here. He's going to be doing completely fine. Grabbing this second gold mine is going to be the problem here. If we jump back over to Joe's perspective, Joe has no gold. He does have a fair bit of wood in the bank though, so he can potentially trade that. This Scorpion Man moving in, need to get that one focused by those heroes, but nice micro there, moving that guy away, and Shelty not falling for. We are seeing the ancestors groups does go down. So at this point, Shelty can retreat, and he's going to be totally fine. These siege towers are going to move in now, going to be able to pick off this mana and see what they can do. Is this going to be too much for Shelty to deal with? Shelty's going to be running back, and he should be able to survive this. At this point, he's got a large amount of army, but there are those 3 siege towers. Also, another gold mine has been gathered by Joe, so he's going to be totally fine here. And all of these ancestors should die to the hero Terma. They are completely fine, and if he can get some citizens over here to defend against the siege tower push, this is not going to do all that much damage. These ancestors have been completely nullified by the Terma heroes there. The Miller should be able to move in now and start picking off this siege tower. Even if he does lose this town center, it's not going to be the end of the world. However, I feel like he's got enough units here to be able to defend against this. And then he needs to get these medium Terma to be picking off the rest of those Ancestors, and also those Terma to be focusing Priests instead of the Siege Towers. Siege Towers take no damage from those Terma, basically only 1 damage a shot. Get the rest of those Mamilio back onto the Siege Tower. The Town Center has taken a huge amount of damage, however, it's going to stand. It's going to be totally fine, and Joe is going to have to retreat here. If we jump over to Joe's perspective, which we are on, he's only at 72 gold, so he does not have the ability to build a middle stronghold. If Shelty makes the push back right now, he's going to be able to push off this gold mine, and Joe's going to have to find somewhere else to find that gold in order to continue these with his economy at this point. The priests have been massed, however, it's just not enough. There are way too many Term here, able to pick off all these priests, and it's way too slow to run away. If you lose a fight with this priest army, it's difficult to run away. You're going to lose all those units as you run away. That Siege Tower is moving in. And nice little micro there from the Terma, but not fast enough. He's going to have to retreat and reform this army. I do wish that Shelty would stop building those Terma at this point and just go straight into melee units, but he does not have the resources to do so at this point. He basically cut villager production there, and he's sitting in a bit of a rough place with that economy. However, he does have a win condition if he can move in here. Also, Joe, not with that second town center either, so the longer this happens, the longer this fight goes on, the further ahead Shelty's economy comes. So Shelty moving in, going to be trying to focus fire some of those priests. A little bit of micro going on there, but not really all too much. We are seeing those siege towers are in a really nice position, so you have to be very, very proactive with those turns. Shift clicking through the priest in order to stop them attacking the siege tower. If you kill off a priest and you don't refocus fire it attacks the closest unit. So if the siege towers are right on top of the Terma, they do manage to do that. We are seeing a citizen moving in now, going to be attempting to pick off some of those siege towers. However, the micro from Joe a little bit too strong there, taking a little bit of damage on the citizen. Might want to get that guy back onto this town center and repair him, because if he gets those siege towers to deal any damage, he's a little bit of a multi-raid coming on over here. Not sure if that's wise at this point after taking this damage. The citizen does so much damage. Yeah, what is it? I don't even know. It's like 200% bonus against siege towers or something, maybe even more. And we are seeing the rest of these priests are getting targeted by the Terma. It's a nice micro here by Shelty. He is hanging on very, very well. These siege towers are going to be getting picked off by the Murmillo, and we are seeing some citizens moving in, and the Scorpion Man now coming in without any hero units. Basically, that Scorpion Man's going to do absolute work. We're seeing a little bit of a micro here from the priest, moving those guys back. Need to keep on microing away the ones that are getting targeted down as fast as you possibly can in order to make it difficult for your opponent. We are seeing the citizens are going to be finally picking off those siege towers. 2 HP left, and a temple is coming up in the front of Joe. Joe's trying to keep those priests pumping, but Joe sitting at 92 population to Shelty's 130 population. This can potentially be the game-winning push here for Shelty. He's going to be able to move in here, take out this location. It's going to be way too much for Joe. Joe's not able to keep up with the spam of Shelty, and Shelty is so far ahead in the economy at this point. No real army left for Joe at all. Joe sitting at 79 population. He's got that next gold mine up, and he is attempting to spam these priests as fast as possible. With the 70 gold, he can keep them coming. However, he's not able to pick off the units fast enough for Shelty to stop pushing. So Shelty is going to be coming into this gold mine. It's only got 1900 left, so he could move on to a different gold mine at this point and be totally fine, so long as he can get there without losing too many villages. He has taken a couple of villages off the gold line there and attempting to fight, but he says that's too much pressure from the Oranos. Shelty, Joe decides to tap out. That was super well played by Shelty, managing to defend against the standard ISIS against Atlantean play. Those Spirit of Mart priests are terrifying as an Atlantean player, because you just can't defend against it. But Shelty showed how to do it. He's taken him back onto the town center fire. He had a bunch of hero Terma there, and he just kept on defending until he had the advantage, and then he managed to make the push on the gold mine, took that gold mine away from Joe, and Joe goes, look, I've exhausted my strategy. It was a super roll in and I didn't do enough damage. I have to tap out. He says GG. If you enjoyed this game, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out. My name is Boit, and I will see you guys next time.